Hi guys, welcome to ANIMEized. This is the English translated version of the novel Throneofseal. The novel differs slightly from the Chinese animation or donghua. If you want more of these videos, please smash the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Enjoy and have a blessed day.
However, he witnessed the cunning of these two powerful beings, so, even in a situation where he was already confident, he still remained vigilant. Relying on strategy, he devised a plan against ANIMEized. Just like how ANIMEized dealt with the Forest Serpent King before, this cave was something he was determined to obtain. Although he didn't know what treasures were inside, but since the Forest Serpent King valued it so much, it couldn't be ordinary. Moreover, even if ANIMEized hesitated a bit at that time, the moment the first golden figure rushed into the cave and took away the Forest Serpent King's inner core, he didn't care about anything else, even if he knew it was a trap. He could only grit his teeth and charge into the cave. And this first golden figure was none other than Haochen, who used the holy guiding spirit furnace's attraction ability. Once snake demon god ANIMEized entered the cave, the surrounding light dimmed, and now, it was even clearer, that there was a faint golden light deep inside the cave. At this moment, ANIMEized didn't concern himself with where this golden light came from. What he had to do was reclaim the inner core of the Forest Serpent King. He was severely wounded. Without this inner core, not to mention improving his strength, he probably wouldn't even be able to fully recover. That's also why he had to fall for the trap. The two figures in front didn't venture too deep into the cave and stopped their steps. When ANIMEized saw that the green figure was actually a skeleton with eye sockets shining with green flames, he couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Next to the green skeleton, there was Haochen, shining with golden light all over. It was a coincidence. Both Haochen and Holy Guard number 11 had 6 wings. At this moment, standing together, there was a somewhat complementary feeling. However, the auras they emitted were not too powerful, which relieved ANIMEized. He immediately noticed the inner core that Haochen held in her hand. "Hand it over, I'll spare your lives." ANIMEized roared fiercely with a sinister expression. Behind him, dark red blood continued to drip. A hint of mockery appeared on Haochen's face, and with a wave of her hand, a white light fell on ANIMEized. ANIMEized tried to resist, but the gentle white light had no attacking effect. Naturally, it couldn't be resisted. Snake Demon God felt as if he were entangled by something, subconsciously turned around, and coincidentally met the second golden figure that had entered the cave. At the same time, Haoyu's big butt twisted, and completely blocked the entrance of the cave. In terms of body size, Snake Demon God ANIMEized was much smaller than Haoyu when not in demon god form. Although his total length was around 5 meters, he could still move freely in this cave with a diameter of 3 meters. However, Haoyu, whose size had grown to a terrifying extent, couldn't fit inside. Blocking the entrance was undoubtedly the best choice. The reason longhaochen led the Snake Demon God into this cave before taking action was simple: to keep ANIMEized as far away from his demon god pillar as possible. Longhaochen was well aware of the tremendous boost the demon god pillar could provide to a demon god. And its enormous effect was what allowed an 8th rank like ANIMEized to kill a 9th rank like the Forest Serpent King. The terror of this amplification can be imagined. Although Longhaochen also guessed that the current Snake Demon God ANIMEized is at the end of his rope, he doesn't dare to gamble, nor can he afford to gamble. So, he cautiously led ANIMEized here, to prevent him from getting close to the demon god pillar. Although the distance is not too far, it's still much better than fighting him next to the demon god pillar. When ANIMEized sees Longhaochen, his heart sinks slightly. Although this human youth in armor appears to be only of the 7th rank, for some reason, when he first sees Longhaochen, he feels as if his heart is being squeezed, and an ominous premonition arises. An ominous premonition arises, while the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the Oreo behind. Having exerted all his efforts to finally slay the Forest Serpent King, he never expected to encounter a human here. Moreover, it's a human knight. The light attribute on Longhaochen's body is exceptionally pure. At this moment, he releases it without reservation. Left hand with ripples of light, right hand with the hymn of the goddess of light. Each pointing diagonally towards the ground, he gazes coldly at ANIMEized. The sharp sword intent is elusive. Although Longhaochen stands there without moving, ANIMEized already feels a prickling sensation on his back. It's as if Longhaochen himself is a sharp sword, and he can be completely certain that this sharpness is not something his external spiritual power can withstand. If he hadn't been injured before, ANIMEized wouldn't have paid attention to Longhaochen, as, in his view, opponents of this cultivation level can be easily suppressed with spiritual power alone. But now it's different. His injuries are severe, and he can no longer unleash the demon god transformation. 60% of his original strength has been lost. Facing a human knight like Longhaochen, how can he not feel immense pressure? "Human, how did you end up here?" ANIMEized realizes that his question is somewhat naive, but he can't help asking, as he finds it extremely strange. From his perception, surprisingly, there was not the slightest awareness before. Moreover, the entry point chosen by this human is really well done. Longhaochen smiles calmly and says, Hello, Snake. Demon God Endomily. If I say it's luck, would you believe it? In reality, it is luck, or one could say it's fate, that we meet you here, in battle with the Forest Serpent King. Today, this will be your burial ground. As he speaks, Longhaochen won't give Endomily any buffer time to heal his injuries, taking a step forward with his left foot, and swinging the hymn of the goddess of light towards Endomily. The ethereal sword intent suddenly solidifies. This sword is not as profound as when facing Ao Bao, but it opens and closes widely, exuding an overbearing momentum. Mountains in front, then split the mountain, water in front, then cut off the flow. This is the meaning behind Longhaochen's sword. At this moment, Endomily has no weapons in his hands. His 2 snake spears, after piercing the head of the Forest Serpent King, are still lodged in the body of the Forest Serpent King. Amidst low growls, Endomily fiercely swings his right fist. Intense dark elements swirl on his right arm, forming a presence resembling a black hole. A strong surge of dark elemental spiritual power erupts, heading straight towards Longhaochen. At this moment, saying more is meaningless. The only way is to kill the opponent. Therefore, Endomily goes all out. However, at this moment, a sharp aura suddenly comes from behind, stabbing towards the wound on his back. At this moment, Endomily, influenced by the pull of the holy guiding spirit furnace, can only attack Longhaochen. He has no other choice. Moreover, even if given a choice, he would certainly choose to threaten the more significant Holy Guard Knight. Puff! In a somewhat strange soft sound, Longhaochen's entire body shines with golden light, taking a step back. But the black vortex on Endomily's fist also breaks apart in response. His body swayed slightly. From this, it can be seen how dire Endomily's condition is. Holy Guard No. 10's body flashes and disappears, like a blue electric light, touching Endomily's back and vanishing in an instant. His pair of short swords have successfully completely severed the wing that Endomily's back had lost. Holy Guard No. 10's move is extremely sinister, not only severing the wing, but also slashing through the critical areas behind Endomily. For a moment, behind Endomily, dark red blood sprays out. Longhaochen just takes a step back, and his attack has once again been unleashed. Heavy slash, leaping up, fight and slaughter spinning sword. He intends to completely crush Endomily in a crushing manner, not giving him the slightest chance. At the same time as he launches this attack, Holy Guard No. 10's attack has once again surged towards Endomily's back. The skill he is using is somewhat similar to Longhaochen's, but he cannot borrow power, exactly the wind dance he used when dealing with Medusa before. Not only that, a series of golden starlights have connected, forming a spear of radiant stars shooting out from behind, aiming directly at Endomily's neck. The enormous threat causes Endomily's innate potential to completely burst forth, even in the midst of heavy injuries. But he is, after all, one of the 72 pillars of demon gods, possessing an extremely strong survival instinct. Now he has thought very clearly. For himself, escaping is the only option. He must not covet the treasures here anymore. As long as he can break free, outside there are so many of his subordinates, perhaps there's a chance for a comeback. If he is truly blocked by these enemies here, he's afraid he'll never get out. With a roar to the sky, Endomily makes a strange move, taking a stance, hands pressed downward in the void. It can be clearly seen. A dark red light suddenly erupts from his body, then, a rich dark red light explosively bursts, forming a layer of light shield, enveloping his body within. If one looks closely, this layer covering his body looks very much like a transparent version of the demon god pillar. The attacks from Longhaochen and his 2 companions land on this light shield, causing numerous intense fluctuations of spiritual power, but they just cannot break through. It feels like they are directly attacking the demon god pillar. It seems like the outer demon god pillar has also sensed Endomily's crisis. The massive demon god pillar trembles slightly. Streams of dark red light rush out from the demon god pillar, like arrows, directly rushing towards the opening blocked by Haoyu. Without a doubt, these dark red lights are trying to save Endomily. This is also Endomily's final life-saving measure. Once he merges with these dark red lights, he will transform into a light and merge into the demon god pillar, although doing so will seal him for at least 3 years. But it will ultimately save his life. If it were just Longhaochen and his companions, perhaps Endomily would have succeeded. Unfortunately, here there is still Haoyu. The Haoyu that even the demon god emperor fears, faced with the radiance emitted by the demon god pillar. All 5 heads of Haoyu suddenly lift high, their eyes shining with a peculiar brilliance, a very peculiar kind, with hatred, frustration, and pride, but mostly with eyes filled with anger and sorrow. All 5 heads simultaneously roar towards the sky, their eyes all turning purple in unison. A strange layer of purple light ripples from Haoyu. In this instant, it appears so noble and powerful, as if it is the master of all creatures in this world from the spiritual realm. Following that, all 5 heads simultaneously spew forward, an intense layer of purple essence instantly ripples out, meeting the surging dark red lights that approach. A bizarre scene unfolds as the dark red lights encounter this essence of purple. They actually melt away instantly, as if ice and snow met molten lava, let alone rushing into the cave to rescue Endomily. They can't even pass through Haoyu's side. Furthermore, the purple essence spreading from Haoyu also enters the interior of the cave. Longhaochen feels a surge in his spirit, and when that purple essence lands on Endemily's protective light shield, the formidable defense that even Longhaochen and his companions couldn't break through before actually melts away. Instantly, the snake demon god Endemily is momentarily stunned. This is impossible. He can't believe this is true no matter what. But the fact is right in front of him. Gliding forward. // Naturally, Longhaochen won't give him a chance to catch his breath, although he doesn't know what Haoyu did. Breaking through Endemily's defense undoubtedly provides them with the best opportunity. Almost instinctively, Endemily tries to block Longhaochen's attacks. A layer of dark spiritual power forms a protective armor around his body. His large tail behind him also curls upward, blocking the attacks from Holy Guard number 10 and Yating behind him. However, now he can only defend. A sneer appears in Longhaochen's eyes. Defend? Even if you defend, it won't give you a chance. Because Longhaochen is unaware of the situation outside, and Longhaochen's consciousness. Haoyu and the two Holy Guards are under tremendous pressure. Therefore, he cannot afford to delay. A red light flashes, and immediately after, a sharp blade leaves a scar on Endemily's body. Holy Guard number 12 takes action. Longhaochen learned all his combat skills from him, and now is the perfect time for a coordinated attack, with Holy Guard number 12 taking the lead and temporarily replacing Longhaochen. He can free up his hands to release his companions. Golden light shines, and a total of 4 figures appear beside Longhaochen. Sima Xian, Lin Xin, Wan Yuanyuan, and Han Yu, all 4 appear next to Longhaochen simultaneously. They have long been gathering power in anticipation. As soon as they appear, Longhaochen doesn't need to say anything. According to the original plan, they immediately unleash their spiritual power comprehensively. Longhaochen says to Lin Xin, "You go outside first, and use the scroll to help Haoyu and the others. The rest of you, focus on attacking with me." A 3-meter diameter cave is somewhat restrictive for Endemily, but for Longhaochen and the others, it is sufficient. At this moment, there's no need for other tactics. What they need to do is rely on their own formidable strength to kill the enemy in front of them. Longhaochen doesn't move, but retracts his aura of light, clasping him of the goddess of light in his hands. A layer of golden mist immediately rises from his body, gathering power. The other 3 charge out together. Sima Xian's power pill of light, Wan Yuanyuan's shield of giant god, combined with Han Yu's crimson blood rampage, all release their most powerful abilities, with Sima Xian at the center. And Wan Yuanyuan and Han Yu on either side, they all attack the snake demon god Endemily with full force. Endemily at this moment, his frustration knows no bounds. It's not just frustration, but also a sense of stifling oppression. If he were in his prime, he wouldn't fear these humans at all. Even if he were stupid, he now understands that he has encountered a human demon hunting squad. Moreover, it's a squad with only one 7th-step powerhouse, while the rest are just a 6th-step demon hunting squad. Yet, it's precisely this demon hunting squad that poses a deadly threat to him now. The attacks from 3 legendary equipment items are not easy to resist, especially Sima Xian's power pill of light. In a fully powered state, Sima Xian directly enters a berserk state, and consumes a bloodthirsty pill given by Lin Xin. Purple Phantom Thunder Spirit Furnace in full swing. This is an all-out assault without reservations. In this state, Sima Xian, even if faced head-on by Longhaochen, can only avoid its sharpness. His powerful weapon and domineering attack ability completely compensate for the lack of spiritual power. Of course, this attack state cannot be sustained for too long. But Endemily can hold on much longer. Boom, shatter, crush, absorb, and triple explosion, plus Purple Phantom Thunder Spirit Furnace. When the first strike of power pill of light hits, colliding with Endemily's massive body, it delivers a significant blow. The cave has a diameter of only 3 meters, and although straight-line movement is easy for Endemily, there is simply no room for maneuvering. In such a situation, he can only stand his ground. The 1-meter diameter power pill of light hits his crossed arms, and suddenly, Endemily's whole body is covered in fine purple lightning, and his massive body spasms uncontrollably. Naturally, his defensive movements slow down. What's even more frightening is that his arms are charred black from the impact, and large sections of his defensive spiritual power are torn apart. Everyone present is adept at seizing opportunities, so who would pass up such a good opportunity? Thus, Holy Guard number 10, number 12, Yating, along with Han Yu and Wan Yuanyuan, the attacks from the 5 powerhouses almost rain down on Endemily. Everyone's attacks left deep marks on him. The most insidious is still Holy Guard number 10, who attacked the exact location where Endemily was already injured. It can be said to be adding insult to injury, and now you can already see inside the bones shattered by the king of the forest serpent. Holy Guard number 10 directly assisted in bone removal. Numerous broken bones, along with torn muscles, were removed by him. This pain was simply too immense for Endemily. Holy Guard number 12, on the other hand, is more straightforward, aiming his attacks at Endemily's waist, with at least half of the massive bone knife penetrating Endemily's vital waist area. Yuan's shield of giant god directly embeds into Endemily's shoulder, while Han Yu's crimson blood rampage enters a frenzied stage, bringing out deep sword scars one after another. Yating, on the other hand, provides Endemily with healing abilities, a major healing spell. This would be a great boon for Longhaochen, but for Endemily with the dark attribute, it's like throwing a bucket of cold water into boiling oil. Endemily's current appearance is truly gruesome, but even so, his tenacious vitality and fighting spirit have not given up. Roaring towards the sky, a dark red flame suddenly erupts violently from his forehead, and with a mighty effort, he sends everyone flying to the side, and the intense dark red flame ignites all over his body at this moment. Astonishingly, everyone sees that the wounds on Endemily's body are healing at an astonishing speed. Furthermore, his momentum is rapidly increasing, and it seems like his power is returning to its peak state. How is this possible? He suffered such serious injuries. How could he recover so quickly? Everyone is feeling disheartened and shocked. If Endemily recovers to his optimal state, then they might be the ones needing to escape. However, at this moment, there is one person remaining calm, and that is Longhaochen. Don't panic, it's the demon god disintegration technique. Longhaochen utters a low shout, and in the midst of gathering power, he remains unchanged. He just stares intently at the snake demon god, whose momentum is rising. Yes, Endemily is so severely injured, and he's not even next to the demon god pillar. How could he recover from his injuries so quickly? There's only one answer: he used an extraordinary method. The demon god disintegration technique is extremely domineering. Even if used by a demon god, it has severe side effects, and with Endemily's current physical condition, using the demon god disintegration technique is akin to losing half of his life. But he has no other choice. This is his last lifeline. However, the worse his physical condition, the shorter the time the demon god disintegration technique can be sustained. Following Longhaochen's reminder, everyone gathers around him without delay. Having cooperated for so long, their cooperation is seamless. As long as they prevent Endemily from rushing out, the demon god disintegration technique itself will make him collapse. With the power of the holy guiding spirit furnace, the others don't need to consider anything else. Just putting all their effort into the attack is enough. Holy Guard number 10 and number 12 step back to both sides of Longhaochen, while Yating transforms into a stream of light, merging into the Hymm of the goddess of light. At this moment, on Longhaochen's body, there is a thick dark golden flame rising. Unlike before, where the dark golden flame only appeared on the Hymm of the goddess of light, this time, it covers Longhaochen's entire body. Through gathering power, Longhaochen is burning his spiritual power intensely. This is the flame exclusive to him as a god's chosen one. Outside the cave, the dim and gloomy swamp suddenly brightens. The illusory figure of the goddess of light silently descends from the sky, illuminating everything around. Large swathes of swampy mist dissipate under the influence of the goddess of light's aura, also revealing a chaotic swamp. The surviving snake demons are almost entirely wiped out. Haoyu, Holy Guard number 9, number 11. Along with the later addition of Lin Sin's scrolls, almost slaughtering the remaining hundreds of snake demons. These snake demons already had significant energy depletion from battling the forest serpent, and suddenly encountering such powerful magic. How could they withstand it? Inside the cave, a series of thunderous roars explode. Yuan's breaker cannon, Shima Xian's purple phantom thunder spirit furnace, Han Yu's sword sync version of Azura strike, almost consecutively bombard the snake demon god Endemily. Although they are all inevitably repelled, Endemily's soaring momentum has also come to an end. At this moment, a huge blue flame skull appears, fiercely striking Endemily's chest, causing him, who was about to rush out, to stagger. The ordinary snake demons outside are no longer a significant threat, after Lin Sin throws out a few scrolls and returns to support his companions. At this moment, Endemily looks extremely ferocious, with bulging, thick blood vessels all over his body, and dark red blood has completely obscured his original appearance. However, the aura emanating from him is indeed extremely powerful. He has restored the demeanor of a peak 8th rank. Scales cover his palms heavily, his hands cross, just blocking Lin Sin's fire spell attack, leaving a charred black mark on his palm. The terrifying high temperature of the heartfire flame has dealt a significant blow. Roar, roar, roar! Endemily roars like a beast, charging frantically towards the entrance of the cave. Terrifying dark energy gathers in front of him, forming a massive ball of light, heading straight for Longhaochen. The air inside the entire cave seems to distort because of the shining dark red light sphere. The strong sense of suffocation causes everyone preparing to attack to pause for a moment. Stepping forward with his left foot, Longhaochen's forehead suddenly lights up. 9 purple golden light patterns shimmer, divine light shoots from his eyes, and the dark golden flame rising from his body suddenly turns into a bright golden color, radiating an unparalleled dazzling brilliance. Even his companions cannot help but close their eyes at this moment. The Hymm of the goddess of light emits an extremely cheerful hum. Then, it is clearly visible, Longhaochen's Hymm of the goddess of light trembles slightly, and the blade unexpectedly loses a layer of transparent substance silently. Then, a terrifyingly sharp aura that makes the entire cave tremble, flashes and disappears. The golden and dark red colors almost simultaneously converge. In that instant, the hymn of the goddess of light in longhaochen's hands disappeared. At this moment, his face appears somewhat pale, and his body is frozen in place, but his gaze is so determined and sharp. Across from him, the snake demon god Endemoli still maintains the posture of charging forward. Even the enormous dark red light sphere is still in front of him. However, everything seems to have frozen in time and space. What is happening? No one knows what happened. Because, at that moment of dazzling golden light, they all subconsciously closed their eyes, not witnessing what transpired. The illusion of the goddess of light outside the cave has also disappeared. Haoyu's 5 heads still raised high, even showing a hint of bewilderment, as if sensing something. Poof! The dark red light sphere suddenly dissipated without warning, without even producing any residual energy explosions, like a tomato being sliced open, only oozing out a pair of viscous fluids, disappearing into the air. Following that, Shima Xian, Wan Yuanyuan, Han Yu, and Lin Xin couldn't help but widen their eyes, because they clearly saw, on the body of the snake demon god Endemoli, a golden light trace gradually appeared, extending from the head to the feet, and his massive body finally began to tremble. The light trace became brighter and brighter, and Endemoli's body trembled more and more violently, until countless golden lights burst forth from his body. The mighty snake demon god finally completely disintegrated, its body turning into numerous fragments falling to the ground. Longhaochen's body also swayed slightly, and Han Yu quickly supported his arm. From the side, the 2 holy guards who hadn't had a chance to act felt a strong sense of fear as flames flickered in their eye sockets. Because, unlike the others, they didn't close their eyes, as they simply couldn't. Therefore, among the powerful beings present, only they saw what Longhaochen had done. A single slash, and it was done. Just these words are enough to explain. Using the demonic recovery technique to restore to near-peak state, the snake demon god Endemoli was cut in half by Longhaochen's hymn of the goddess of light. Both his attacks and his body were unable to withstand the formidable power of the hymn of the goddess of light. Instant kill. Yes, Longhaochen indeed killed his opponent in an instant. But how did he do it? How did he become so powerful all of a sudden? Only Longhaochen himself knows exactly what he did. At this very moment, his thoughts involuntarily returned to the time when he sent back the sword intent of the hymn of the goddess of light to the warrior god's temple. The lord of the warrior temple, the war god Qiu Yonghao, had a final private conversation with him, revealing a secret to him. This secret had been buried in Longhaochen's heart. At that time, Qiu Yonghao told him, the hymn of the goddess of light had a secret. On top of it, there was a powerful seal, a seal that the sword god of light, Ye Wuxian, placed before his death, to conceal the true power of the hymn of the goddess of light, so as not to harm the descendants. At the same time, Qiu Yonghao told him, to lift this seal, to truly use the power of the hymn of the goddess of light, his cultivation level had to be at least 8th rank. If using it in a forced manner, along with the gathering power skill, 7th rank could also barely attempt it. Afterward, Qiu Yonghao taught Longhaochen the method to lift the seal. It can be said, Qiu Yonghao, as a former attendant of the sword god of light, Ye Wuxian, was the only person on the continent who knew this method. It was Longhaochen's sincere dedication in returning the sword intent that touched him, leading him to finally reveal the secret, because he also wanted to see a new generation of the sword god of light is born, able to inherit the mantle of Ye Wuxian. Just a moment ago, Longhaochen, utilizing gathering power, elevated his spiritual power to the extreme, finally, for the first time, unlocked the seal of the hymn of the goddess of light, unleashing the power of this divine sword, and the snake demon god Endemoli became the first sacrifice to the divine sword. Longhaochen did this for a simple reason. He didn't want to give Endemoli any chance for a counterattack, having learned enough from the previous encounter with the Forest Serpent King. Therefore, he used his most powerful attack, completely dealing with the snake demon god, annihilating its soul and life completely, making it vanish beneath the radiant sword of the goddess of light. Suddenly, a dark red light burst forth from the outside of Endemoli's corpse, swiftly flying outward. The appearance of this light was truly sudden, and the speed was incredible, even surpassing the flight speed of Holy Guard number 10. Faintly it could be seen, it was a crown, a dark red crown, and even dark red blood dripping from the crown.